Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is A Woman's Prerogative. Today, we're going to be talking about My Horoscope Says. I don't know about you, but are you someone who follows your horoscope every day and you do or die by whatever it is you read? That's not me. Sorry. But I am interested to find out what my horoscope says for the future as I'm looking at a number of changes that might be taking place, all positive. So while we talk about horoscopes, let's welcome our panelists from around the world. We have a smaller group today, but they're certainly delightful. Let's welcome Caroline HEWARD, the Harley Street stress expert, joining us from London. Hello.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah. How are you today?
I'm feeling on top of the world today, and I have very good reasons to be.
I am super excited for you, and we'll be sharing those reasons in just a moment. Joining us from Tomorrowland in New Zealand, it's MARISKA DePree. Hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
Well, the future is looking bright. The sun is shining, so very good.
I'm so happy to hear this. I love when everyone is happy and doing well. So before we get into our horoscope, Caroline, you have some exciting news to share with our audience. Tell us more.
Well, my big exciting news, I've got two pieces. The first one is I've just had my exam results for a coaching training that I've been doing. I had an exam weekend 2 weekends ago, and I never feel very confident when I'm doing exams. The word exam frightens me to death, but I've actually come out with a distinction, and 91% as the overall result, which has resulted in a distinction. And I'm just stunned. I'm absolutely jumping up and down, very excited. And I only found out about 10 minutes before I came on the show. So I'm still a little bit, sort of, oh my gosh, did I really do that? And the other good news is that I found a new location to look for my wonderful new home, and I'm going to do a viewing on Wednesday. So I'm actually quite excited about that too.
Yay! Let's give her a round of applause. Woo! I like to say love is in the air, but change is in the air, and change could lead to love. Who knows?
Very much so.
That is fantastic news. Thank you for sharing that. MARISKA, what about you? What's new and exciting in your life? Whoops, that's not MARISKA. It looks like Caroline.
I had a face change. New and exciting in my life at the moment. Let's see. Well, tracking along well with 2023. I almost said 2013. Wow. I would have gone back in 10 years. And I'm in the future. This is concerning. So 2023 is going well thus far with all the plans that I have and doing everything that I'm doing. So no big tests. Caroline, actually, I have my test towards the end of this month for my next phase of my ICF, and I will definitely have to scoot closer to you so that some of that wonderful brains can rub off, because I would love to have a 91 for said test. It takes 3 hours to write in one sitting, so I'm a little bit nervous about that one. Other than that, yes, life is good.
Woo! Yay! Yes, congratulations. Very, very happy for both of you. By the way, we want to say hello to JENETTA Barry and also to Dr. Madeline Chan and to Dr. DESZIREE Richardson. They are not here today, but they are in our hearts, and we look forward to seeing them again next week. I have a few exciting things to share. Let's see. I will be 60. As you know, you're sick of hearing it, but on March 26th. So I decided yesterday, 21 days in advance of my birthday, that I was going to do some lifestyle changes because, I'm always a psycho about my weight and my eating and everything else. So today I went 19 hours in fasting, which I'm super excited about. And I had already walked 3 miles, and I went to Solid Core, which was a brutal workouts, and I will not eat again until tomorrow. So I'm eating 1 meal a day, and I'm working out 3 times, and I want to see how things are going to shape up for me. So I'm pretty excited.
Wow. You are an inspiration, Dr. Jacqueline. I'm feeling tired just listening to what you do. I feel like I did the workout through you.
I always like to challenge myself and see where I can push myself to. So that's what I'm doing with that. And then yesterday, I had an incredible meeting with someone who was referred to me by someone on our team. And this person does a lot of work with coaches and consultants around the world. He's been interviewed by Diane Sawyer. He's worked with some of the biggest companies in the world. And so we are looking at doing a collaboration. So I'm super excited. Stay tuned for details about that. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that before my birthday, we have a book coming out, which is Lady London. Lady Ella has afternoon tea in London. And I worked with our book coach over the weekend, and that's in good shape. And we're having a double party, a birthday book launch party. Let me find my little graphic here. And this is on March 26th. So many graphics. Here it is. So I'm hoping that people will decide to join us. You can actually go and register to take part in it. And I'll share that link again to go ahead and register. So it starts at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is what time, Mariska, in New Zealand?
Ooh, we would have had a time change by then because you guys go into summertime shortly.
And you're coming back. You're coming on at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I think, or 4:30.
Yes, I am. So we will be at consulting phone. So I will tell you guys shortly. I will be coming at 4:33 p.m. Eastern on that specific day will be 8 a.m. New Zealand time.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining. And Caroline, I hope that you can join as well.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't I?
You're the star of the book.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I not come and join? That'll be a lovely birthday celebration with you. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you. And as you said, being the star of the show, being the royal swan.
Royal swan named Princess, which is fabulous.
What else
finally, what else are you going to do on a Sunday or for Mariska Monday? Finally, my song, What Was I Thinking Back Then, is going to be released hopefully by then. And it's a duet with a future team member. He's actually going to be joining us for his own show, which is a secret. But I always say his name wrong. Let me say it's Renee. I love him. And he is in South Africa. And his last name is Chakani. Renee Chakani is doing the vocals with me. So it's a duet. What was I thinking back then? So, exciting. So that being said, let's go on to horoscopes. Do either of you follow your horoscope on a regular basis? And if so, how has it impacted your life?
Well, I must admit, a long time ago, many years ago, I used to read that stuff in the newspapers, and now I don't. And so I don't follow, but I do follow things like the moon and insights from angelic cards or card reading, which is probably much more attuned to where I am right now. But I must admit, there was a long time ago, way back before there was social media, I did used to read them, and I would almost live by them. And there were certainly times that I wouldn't do things because it was warning me not to. Now I'm a bit more of a free spirit, and if I want to do something, then I create it. Literally, I put all my focus and my energy on what I want to do, and I make it happen. But sort of there is with the moon. I follow somebody called Yasmin Bolan, who does a moonology diary. And in that diary, she actually shares about making wishes on the new moon, and letting go on the other moon. I can't remember which way round it is, but she's the one. I kind of follow people that know this stuff rather than following it myself. But there is something in the moon when it changes, and there is something in the star sign. So I'm Taurus. And that's a very earthy character. My rising star is Capricorn. So they're both earth star signs. And I am very earthbound as a person. And so that doesn't surprise me. I'm not really very airy. I'm very earthy in terms of what I do. So when I do read, about who I am in terms of my star sign, it never fails to amaze me how accurate they deem, sort of the aspects of my personality, my behaviour. But I must admit, I don't follow it like religion now. And I did look at a review of my star sign for today, and it's saying, so there's good things and it's my time to shine. And I thought, what? Yeah, it really is. So that bit's quite good. So that's, I'm not really following it. And yet when I look today, just before the show, then it's actually on course with what's going on right now.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. That's really interesting. And part of what you described, I was going to ask as a question, which is, I wonder how we let what we read influence us and the choices that we make. And you just addressed that.
Yeah. It's because it's quite easy to sort of get swept up in it, to think, oh, I better not do that today because my star sign says I shouldn't, or my star sign says, and I used to be like that, but I'm almost 59 now, a bit older, to sort of not be driven by something that somebody's writing, and actually creating what I truly want to experience and truly want to have in my life, rather than, following something that may not be so appealing for some.
Thanks so much. Very interesting. While we go over to Mariska, Caroline, I'd love for you to look on your phone about what the horoscope is for you for this year, and then we'll come back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's go over to Mariska. What are your thoughts about following your horoscope? Do you do it? What have you found out?
Well, I won't say follow religiously. For me, it's more of this is interesting. One of the things that I have found is, for me, so I'm Capricorn, and I have I'm very close to the sort of edge of between Capricorn and Aquarius. So my star sign, if I only read Capricorn, sometimes not quite there. And then if I only read Aquarius, also sometimes not quite there. So there's a little bit of interpretation that needs doing when I read mine, I think. So I normally take it with a pinch of salt because, well, I'm not really in either one of the categories fully. And read it regularly, not really. As with Caroline, I think I went through a stage where I read it more often. What I normally will do is, in the beginning of the year, I'll have a bit of a browse and have a look at what sort of themes they suspect might come up for the year, and then really just go through the year. And for the most part, I forget what they might have said, and then get to the end of the year and sort of review it again and go, okay, yeah, some of the stuff might have happened and some of it might not have happened. So yes, it is quite an interesting, I can't quite call it a science. It's an interesting way of living life and doing things. And I've also, like Caroline mentioned, the moon phases for me makes a little bit more sense. And I do know that I've spoken to somebody that worked in a psychiatric ward before, and they mentioned that during specific phases of the moon, they actually saw different things happen to people within the ward. So it's almost like, because they detached from some other regular things within life, they are more sensitive to outside influences such as the moon. And I also know that planting by the moon, so gardening by the moon, is quite an interesting thing to do. And when you experiment with it, you can actually find that it works quite well because of the pull that the moon has on the planet Earth. So there's physical things that it does. And seeing as we are made out of, well, mostly water, it makes sense that it will have an influence on us. The rest of the planet most probably also, to some more or lesser degree. So yeah, always interesting. Dr. Jacqueline, seeing as now you know what I am and what Caroline are, what star sign is yours?
Ooh, do you either you want to guess? You know when my birthday is, so.
So is it Aries?
Aries.
Yeah, because I'm a Taurus, so it's the.
You're right
the
after me.
before. Yeah.
Oh, no, you're after, aren't you?
After.
I mean, April, end of April.
Yeah.
So we're sort of about a month apart ish.
And a year apart.
Yes. What about that?
Exactly. Well, I used to follow my horoscope. I mean, 10, 15, I don't even know, so many years ago. I used to look at it in the newspaper, and now you couldn't pay me to touch a newspaper. Dirty ink, gross. So I don't follow it. But for this show, I thought, it's a topic that, some people really do live and die by whatever it is that they're reading. So my horoscope for the year, Aries singles horoscope, because I'm single. Things might not progress at the fast pace you'd like them to all year, Aries, but love is in the air and being patient pays off. As the year begins, the bright sun is shining and highlighting your friendship and networking zone from the end of January until the end of February. We already missed that, so let's just skip that whole part. A relationship that starts at a friend zone, can always turn into more later. Building a love partnership based on friendship can be quite rewarding, so try not to be disappointed if there aren't any fireworks right away. Keep in mind that other people can be excellent matchmakers for you, and letting friends, family, and coworkers know the type of partner you're looking for improves your odds of finding that person. New moons are excellent times to find romance. I don't care, blah, blah, skip all that. Let's see. If you're romantically drawn to someone you work with, you love to take risks, but is some hot romantic action worth losing your job over? Probably not.
Wow.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Another 0 for the love life. That's okay. So am I going to let that be the foundation of whatever it is that I want for myself? No, but of course there's always that little inkling there. It's like that little thing that's on your shoulder going, ha ha ha, it's not going to work out. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, you asked me to look at my annual horoscope, and I didn't get one quite so detailed, but I put it in our chat. And essentially, my love life is going to blossom as well. There already is an old flame that's rekindled. More about that when it actually really happens.
We want a name. We want a name.
But we're still kind of in that space of we're in different countries. So that's going to be an interesting aspect of it all. And the other thing is that I'm entering a period of calm and productivity, and 2023 will be a good year in terms of love. So watch this space and I'll fill you in and let you know how it will go.
Exciting. Something I just want to comment about that is that throughout the pandemic, we were all meeting virtually, and you can be attracted to someone that you meet across the computer. I think, you can see if there's sparks or not. And then the question is, when you actually meet them in person, will they still be there? Ooh, depends what level you connected, I guess.
Well, this is somebody I dated, was very good friends with over a decade ago.
That narrows it down. I'm going to go through all the conversations and go,
and we've just kind of reconnected again. I'll watch this space. I can't say too much more because we're still in that very early stage. And I am very excited, and, who knows where it might lead.
Do you think the other person feels the same way?
Oh, well, he's kind of, said it all. And was surprised that I was feeling the same too. But, I changed, he's changed. That's over a decade later. And sometimes, timing, person has to all be right. So, yeah, I'll fill you in as it goes on.
Can you take us with you?
Well, he's American.
Oh, good. I'm already over here then.
He's looking at how he can get over here, and see me. And he lives in Chiang Mai, so there's an interesting dynamic there.
He lives where?
He's in Chiang Mai. He lives in Chiang Mai. His family are in California, and I live in London at the moment. So we have an interesting dynamic about, location.
That is interesting. But, where there's a will, there's a way.
And that's sort of where we are. So, which is good because we stay connected. And like I said, we've been very honest. And like I said, who knows? Maybe this is the time for me. New home, new man, and new exam results.
Wow, super exciting. Very happy for you, Caroline.
Thank you.
And what about you, Miss New Zealand?
Ooh, well, but I don't have to worry too much about the love interest. Keeping love interest, of course, always. Seeing as being married, it is a continuous process, is it not, of discovering each other. Because Caroline, as you mentioned, knowing him from, a decade back, you guys have changed a bit, and hopefully timing is a lot better for you guys now. For me, I have been with my other half for a little over a decade. Well, yeah, a little bit over a decade, almost 2. So, and in that time, of course, we also both grow and change and things evolve. And yeah, as happy as ever. And it does take work.
I love that. Woo!
So yes, I am sure I always love. And I also, Dr. Jacqueline, I know your horoscope alluded to this, having a friendship and it blossoming into something more, I think is very, very powerful. Because, if we cannot be friends, right, first, then really what is there? I know, yes, there needs to be a spark. It's not that we would be lovers with every friend. That doesn't work. But friendship definitely very high on the list when it comes to having those love interests, because at some point there's going to be some rough roads to travel, and it's good to have a friend next to you, especially if it can be your best friend. So yes, my thoughts on it.
Absolutely. Wow. I love that. I just got a song that popped into my head.
Ooh.
Lovers with every friend. It sounds exhausting. That's all I got.
It's a song in the making.
Exactly.
I totally endorse what Mariska says about friendship, because I've always, any very serious relationship that I've ever had, it starts off being a friendship, because that feels safe to me. That feels, like you can be real in a friendship. It's an easier way to move from friendship to a relationship. And so when you're friends first, then you know if there's a spark or not. And if there isn't, then you've got a really good friend. I'm very good at the friendship side of it. I haven't had very many relationships, so I know exactly what you're saying. And the ones that have been the better relationships have actually been amazing friends before. So it's important, I feel, so that you both feel comfortable in being together. And then if it grows, that's wonderful. And if it doesn't, then you've still got an amazing friendship.
From a therapist perspective, especially one with distinguished marks, Caroline, how long do you have to, I shouldn't say how long do you have to, but is there a courting period of just being friends that it should last a certain amount of time, or certain things should happen before you move to the next stage?
Well, the person that I've rekindled, and is just over phone call and online at the moment in terms of messages and WhatsApp messages. Essentially, we were hanging out in the same community. He was a speaker and I was in the training rooms. And so I used to speak to him and catch up with him at the end of, in the breaks and at the end of every training day. And so we really got to know each other, in a really good way, because I was in training and he was speaking. So it was about a good year, and I saw quite a lot of him because he was doing a lot of stuff in London. And then it just kind of happened. It was sort of, that it felt right, and then it didn't work. There were circumstances, things that came up, and it didn't kind of work. And sometimes it's about right person, wrong place, or sort of timing, about where I was, where he was. And so, when something comes back again as another opportunity, I just think that, well, there's obviously something there, and let's explore that, and he's seen me, sort of at my worst in terms of my training, and sitting there, bog-eyed, long days. And then, you can see me glammed up too. So it's an exploration. And I do feel it's important to feel comfortable with the person and then progress. But for me, it was a good year before we did decide to see each other.
I'm taking it all in. I'm trying to figure out who it is.
when he does figure, well, he's actually saying I need to figure us out, because he doesn't live here, he lives in another country, so we have to kind of sort that out, really, because I'm a bit wedded to staying in the UK, despite the many changes that we're experiencing. And that's why I'm being open. I'm very open to see what happens without having any attachment to when and how, just being open.
Being open is important. And Caroline, I know that you've discussed this before in the Listening Mentor, and I want to have Mariska also weigh in on this. From my recollection, you had shared that you worked with someone and they were in a virtual relationship where they never actually met. And you had said, I believe that that's not a relationship that's healthy. So my question is, you can still have an emotional connection with someone without actually meeting them or without actually being with them. What are your thoughts? Let me go to Mariska first, and then we'll come in with the distinguished coach's expertise. Mariska, what do you think about that? Can you have a friendship or a relationship with someone that's just based online? Because I would say that we're friends.
I would agree with that statement. And I have other friends that I have physically never met. So not been in the same room as them other than online. And we're really good friends. So I think it is possible. I think it's limiting ourselves to just physical. There would be some physical element to it, especially if it's a romantic relationship. Romantic relationships, there's a physicality to it at some point, right? So yes, getting to know each other really well, really exploring each other's inner worlds will go a long way. And at some point, I do believe that we would need to get together for there to be a deeper development. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And something that I want to share, which you may know already, is that one of our teammates and our friends here, Ian Pelham Turner, he and I are going to be meeting on Saturday. So he's coming over from London for a business trip, and I'm going to drive up and meet with him for about 3 hours and drive back. So I think it's also important that you meet in person, because we've been working together for about 2 years, and I think we both have some great ideas of things that we could do together in the future. But to sit across the table from someone, I think really is important too.
Yeah.
I've met Ian in the flesh too, because he lives in London.
Wow, what was that like? Give us the lowdown, the LD lowdown.
And he's quite involved in the Universal Peace Federation, because I've been mentored by the main directors there, and he's become part of that, and he's spoken. And when I met him for the first time, I said, "Oh, Ian," because I met him through USA Global TV, and yet, on a USA channel, and yet he's, sort of living in London. So that's kind of really weird.
That's
and
cool.
It was wonderful. He's actually very tall, and which surprised me. I felt quite short, against him. But it was just beautiful, because I felt that, really lovely, strong connection. And yes, I do feel it's important. And yet at the same time, the fact that we've got to know each other really well. And I feel that our friendship, sort of both with yourself, Dr. Jacqueline, and Mariska, is beautiful. We all kind of have this very lovely connection and bond. And so I agree with you. We've laughed and almost cried, with laughter, with some of the things that have happened. And we've shared, the challenges and the stressors that we've experienced too. And it's a journey. And I really feel that I'm part of this family, and I feel a lot of love in this family. So yes, I do believe it is possible to have a very deep and meaningful relationship, even if it is online. And as Mariska pointed out, it is important to still have the physicality of the connection in terms of physically being together. We will find our time, Dr. Jacqueline, to meet, I am sure.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I think also, if we were to limit our friendships and relationships only to people who were in our geographical area, that would be quite small. So even, let's say if I go and meet with Caroline, I go and meet with Mariska, I travel, and then I'm there with you, I'm probably not going to be seeing you, if we all live where we live, on a regular basis. But yet we continue to keep the relationship going by meeting like this, or even on WhatsApp or something. I think it's important when you could see someone also.
Well, I remember talking about seeing someone a long, long time ago. I used to say, I hope they never invent video phones. And at that time, I used to wear, sort of curlers. I used to curl my hair.
Wait, what kind? The kind that is electric, or the ones with
the very old-fashioned, the roller ones.
Roller ones.
And I would say, because I wouldn't want them to see me in my rollers. And then they invented video phones. So,
well, you're not in your rollers all the time, are you?
Well, that was when I was very young.
Okay.
And I just remember saying, you know, I hope they never invent video phones because they might see me in my rollers. Because at that time, a long, long time ago, we would have to sleep in the rollers to make sure our hair was good, you know. And, you know, we're talking about many decades ago, aren't we, Dr. Jacqueline?
Yes. But you know what else you can do instead of rollers? And we're totally off the subject, by the way. If you're just tuning in for my horoscope, forget it, it's out the door. But what I found, and Mariska, you have really long hair as well as Caroline. You can plait it or braid it when you come out of the shower washing it, and you can pin it back and sleep like that. And then you wake up and it's all kind of full of life.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It would be, you know, there's a lot more gadgets, but, you know, I still have this thing about preparing for camera, you know, preparing to be ready, you know, sort of making sure that hair looks right and, you know, the mascara's on and that kind of thing. And I have seen some memes where, you know, sort of it shows when you're ready for a video call, you know, that the hair is groomed and you know, the person is really, you know, looking the part and the makeup's on. And then when it's an audio podcast, that the person's hair's a mess. There's no makeup on. But it's a thing of our times, isn't it? Of social media, of, you know, what's expected. Some people just come in on Messenger and video call me at 2 a.m, you know, and I'm sort of going, you know, I'm in bed. You know?
But for them, it could be a different time in the world, and they're not. But we've talked about that before also, that people just calling out of the blue on Messenger. And by the way, from what I found, Messenger doesn't have voicemail, right? So it just keeps ringing and ringing and ringing.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, until you answer, and then they get straight in a video. I mean, that's kind of quite scary. You know?
I've seen some really scary things that I've been traumatized by, with people just messaging me. I'm like, they don't have their clothes on. Okay, that is not cool. And then I have to go block them. But then I have that image in my mind that, yeah, there's a lot of really sick people out there.
I just don't. You can ignore the call, can't you? You can just put it down. I just won't entertain, you know, connecting. You know, I have to kind of, if I'm going to be on camera, I'm not going to be in bed and on camera for sure. You know.
Thank goodness for that. You took the art of being a professional interviewer. You already knew that, right? But I'm still, like, I can't go into any specifics, but we still have people coming to be interviewed. They're on their bed or in their bedroom. Like, no, it's just, anyway, that's a whole other subject. We're completely off track now. So we just have a few minutes left. So let's just try to wrap up about the horoscope part. So what I'm taking away from this is that none of us are really horoscope fans, that we're plotting out our lives by what someone else is telling us that the universe allegedly has said to us. And something else that's interesting is, as an Aries, from what I read for the year, that means every Aries is going to have the same experience. That seems a little hard to believe.
Well, this is why I say horses for courses. You know, it depends on, you know, where you are and what's happening, which is why I stopped really reading them. But mine was quite interesting, you know, saying that the love life was blooming, and, you know, I thought, oh, you know, this is pretty accurate.
Yeah, and curler sales are rising as a result of this conversation. Mariska, have you ever used rollers, hot rollers, or
hot ones? Yes. The ones that you actually sleep with, no. I do have a tendency to need some good rest, and having a bunch of rollers on my head. Now, my hair has always been long. The only time that I had short hair was when I just left school. Chopped my hair off, quite short, and didn't like that all too much. So I ended up growing it out again. So I've had long hair for most of my life. And I have to say, Caroline, it's dedication to sleep with them. Really,
You can't
I would not
move.
be able to do that.
You got to be face down. I remember I've had, I think, 3 different types of hair extensions. I have no hair extensions now. It's like just me. But I've had the ones where they actually sew it into your head. Like they lift up the back of the hair and then there's like one piece and they sew it in. And what I didn't realize was that when they sew it in, it's attached to like these little square bolts, like a Frankenstein head. And so I remember I was seeing I don't want to go into too much detail. And I was just like, don't touch my hair, whatever you do, And he touched, he's like, what are those bolts in your head? I'm like, don't touch my hair. It was sewn in perfectly. So the things that we do with our hair, I think the point is it's ridiculous. So now I don't blow dry my hair. I go to sleep and I braid all of it. I have like 20 braids. They're all up in top with like a thing. It's very attractive. And then when I wake up, I just go, ooh, and that's it. No hairspray. I don't use hairspray anymore. Once in a while, I'll use curling iron. But yeah, now you know my secrets. You don't even have to get in a relationship with me. There it is. So, but we do have to close out because we have our next show coming up. So I'm going to spotlight each of you and please share a takeaway for today as well as how you can help people. Caroline.
A takeaway for today: don't believe everything you read is my takeaway, and actually be in charge of your own life. Decide what you want to create in your life and then go for it, rather than looking at the negatives of what might not work, what couldn't work, what's not possible. Focus on what you want and what you want to create in your life, and who knows. So that's my takeaway for today. How you can reach me is I offer a free consultation either on Zoom, Skype. If you're a bit camera shy, then over a call. You can reach me on nomorestress@live.co.uk. And I offer a free 30-minute stress buster consultation to literally bust your stress, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or behavioral, whether it's a relationship issue going on, a bereavement issue, anger management. I literally help you identify the root cause, and you will feel really calm and really peaceful at the end of the session. So you can reach me if you wish to call on +44 if you're international. If you're local, 07523 120 189. And I look forward to literally busting your stress.
Yeah, bust that stress right out of here. I love it. Mariska, what do you have to share with our audience for today?
Oh, takeaway first. So, Caroline, I absolutely agree. My biggest takeaway also would be do not just trust everything you read and do your own thing. That's why you are on this planet, and there is only one of you. So you will be the only one that can do the things that you can do. So please go ahead and wow the rest of us with your spark and your brilliance, because you are the only one that can bring said spark and brilliance into this world. So that would be my biggest takeaway. And then the way that you guys can work with me and the people that works with me is normally specialists moving into leadership and leaders moving up in their leadership positions. And for you to get hold of me is via my email, which is mariska@journey to the number 2. I know Dr. Jacqueline just loves that. The number 2, discover.com. Or alternatively, you can reach me via my LinkedIn profile and let me know that you saw me on USA Global TV and radio, and then connect and we can start our conversation.
Woo! Journey to discover. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to share a final takeaway, but I do want to say here we are in 3 different countries and 3 different time zones, and we are having a blast. We are building really strong friendship. We're sharing education, inspiration, and hope. So my takeaway would be we can always find excuses and reasons of why we shouldn't do something. So if we read something that we take in, it's like, see, I knew it. I shouldn't put myself out there because I'm reading this. Just stop it. Stop. Take a time out, look at what it is you want to accomplish and go for it. Don't let all of these external things have an influence on you. Go with your intuition. Go with your gut. That's all I have to say. And now I'm going to go with goodbye because we have to leave and go to the next show. So we will be back next week. And Caroline, congratulations again. Mariska, super excited for our journey that we're doing on these books. And Caroline, thank you for being the main star in 2 of them. And I really appreciate that. It's fabulous. Okay. Bye for now. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.